I faked my way through high school jazz band, and today I'm going to show you how I did that and how it's going to help your guitar playing. Have you ever heard of the 80-20 principle? It says that 20% of your effort will get you 80% of the results. And that is how I faked my way through jazz band. I played the 20% of things on the guitar that get you 80% of your results. So what is the 20% of things that are gonna get you 80% of your results when it comes to playing guitar? Let's dive into that right now. Number one, you need to know your open chords. Open chords are a huge thing, and that's the first thing that I learned when I was starting to play guitar. Now, a lot of people do start out with these. I don't like to. I really like to start people out with drop D power chords and playing real songs with those first, because it's so much easier to change with those than it is doing like G, C, D, A, E and all that fun stuff. But when it comes to your guitar knowledge, you need to know your open chords, because everything that we do on the guitar, so much of what we do is based on those open chords, and you can play millions of songs with them. So understanding your open chords is going to be huge. Once you know those open chords, you need to be able to strum. You need to understand rhythm and strumming and different stuff like that. Now, the biggest reason why you need to know those open chords and understand strumming is because next you need to understand bar chords. Now, there are 5 different kinds of bar chords that we can play on the guitar, but the 2 that you have to know are your E-shaped bar chords that are all based on your E major and E minor chord. So what I did when I was learning is I knew how to play E-shape major bar chords and minor bar chords, dominant 7 or just 7 bar chords, minor 7 bar chords, and those 4 will set you up for a lifetime of playing. If you can play the major, minor 7 and minor 7 shape of your E-shaped bar chords, you're gonna be able to play tons of stuff. Now, later I learned other kinds, like I learned 9s and 13s and major 7 and all that different stuff. But those 4, major, minor, dominant 7, and your minor 7 will set you up for a lot of success for a long time. Now, on top of E-shaped bar chords, I also knew my A-shaped bar chords. So these are bar chords based on your open A chord, that when you play your open A, you can play that anywhere. So I knew my open A shape, my A major shape, I knew my A minor, A7, A minor 7, and my major 7, because major 7 for the A shape is a whole lot easier than for the E shape. Now, between your E shape and your A shape bar chords, you can really play all over the entire fretboard. You can play in any key, and here's the cool thing. You don't really have to know like 13 chords and 11 chords and minor 7 flat 5 and all that fun stuff, right? Because here's the trick. When I was in jazz band, I was teaching myself guitar. Right? My dad had shown me 2 things. He showed me a scale, and he showed me how to play Norwegian Wood by the Beatles. That was it, okay? And my band teacher didn't know really anything about guitar, and that's nothing against him. I mean, most high school band teachers don't know anything about guitar and what guitar involves. And so he said to me, he was like, hey, you're on your own. And every once in a while he'd go to a conference and run into a jazz guitar player and bring back chord sheets that I had no idea what they meant. I had no idea how I was supposed to find the root note for each shape. I was clueless, right? And so here's what I did. Whenever I had a 13 chord or some crazy thing like a minor 9, flat 5, sharp 11, whatever, right? You simple it down. So you make it as simple as you can. So, for example, if I had a 9 with a add flat 13 or whatever, right? I'm just pulling stuff out right now. But let's say that you're playing a song and it says, play a G sharp 9, add 11 chord, right? Here's what you do. You play a G sharp 7. That's it. Now, mind you, I was in jazz band, and most of the time, as the guitar player, I was in the rhythm section, I was in the background, hardly anybody could hear. But here's the important thing. If you simplify it down to being able to just play a G sharp 7, that gets you started, and then you can start investigating, oh, well, what does it mean to play this other chord? And you can look that up and work that into your knowledge and your ability to play. Same thing with minor. Let's say that you had a B flat, minor 9, add 11, 13 chord, whatever, right? I would just play a B minor 7. right? It just simplify it down to make it its easiest thing. So I made it through jazz band by playing minor 7 and dominant 7 chords, and once in a while a major 7 chord. And that got me through because nobody was none the wiser, you know? That's just how it goes. But the truth about it is, in your own guitar playing, most of what you're going to need, if you're playing popular contemporary music, unless you're like actually playing specifically jazz stuff that uses 6 chords and all sorts of fun stuff. And mind you, there is some really good stuff out there in pop and popular music that does. But 80% of what you're going to run into will be filled by knowing major, minor, dominant 7, minor 7. If you know those shapes, you're going to be able to cover a lot of ground with them. So far, open chords and strumming, you got to know those. Then you have to know your E-shaped bar chords, major, minor, dominant 7, minor 7, and then your A-shaped bar chords, major, minor, 7, minor 7, and major 7 for those. If you know that is going to cover so much ground for your playing. Now, as far as scales go, when I auditioned for jazz band, I had to know the B-flat blues scale, so I knew that. That was easy for me. I was like, cool. As far as other scales went, I knew the major pentatonic diagonal shape. That's what my dad taught me. I call it the Instant Rockstar Scale. I have a whole course on it. It is such a useful scale. But back then, I didn't know how useful it was. Now I do. It's seriously like the most useful scale I know. And as time went through jazz band, I learned major and Dorian and Mixolydian because we would warm up every day with those. Mind you, I had no idea what Dorian and Mixolydian meant, how they worked, when to use them, any of that stuff. So most of the time, what I ended up playing was the major pentatonic or the minor pentatonic or the blues scale. And that was it. Now that worked for most of what I needed to do, and it'll work for most of what most people play for guitar anyway. So when it comes to scales, I recommend learning your minor pentatonic scales, your major pentatonic scales, and your blues scales. If you know those 3 scales, and not just in one position, right? I don't mean learn just the A minor pentatonic that most people start out with, and then how to make that the blues scale. And then also the C major pentatonic that a lot of people start out with. I mean being able to find that across the fretboard. Now the easiest way to do that is with diagonal pentatonic scales. And if you want to learn more about that, I've got a link down in the description below. You can go check out my course on it. It's called the Instant Rockstar Scale, and it is so awesome. But understanding your major pentatonic, your minor pentatonic, and your blues scale is really going to help you out. And you will get 80% of your results from your pentatonic scales. Just ask Kirk Hammett, right? No, I'm joking. Tons of guitar players, no matter what style, still revolve around the pentatonic scale and then add to it a lot of times. And so understanding your pentatonic scales and your blues scale is 20% of the knowledge that you need to get 80% of the results. So let's do a quick review really quick. That 20% of guitar knowledge that you need to get 80% of your results on guitar are the things that I used to fake my way through jazz band in high school for 3 years. Now, mind you, in that time, I did win the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award for improving over that time. So it works. Yeah! So the things you need to know are your open chords and how to strum. You need to know your E-shaped bar chords, your major, minor, 7, and minor 7. You need to know your A-shaped bar chords, your major, minor 7, minor 7, and major 7 for those. And then as far as scales go, you need your minor pentatonic, you need your major pentatonic, and then you need your blues scale. That's it. 7 things and you are going to be set. That is 20% of the knowledge that you need to get 80% of your results to play rhythm guitar, to play lead guitar, and to play pretty much any style except for probably classical and Spanish and all that fun stuff. But if you're playing popular contemporary stuff, that's really it. Now, the one thing that I did leave out is power chords. I think that power chords are required learning for everybody. I mean, I start new students out with power chords in drop D, and then we go to open power chords, and then we go to full standard tuning, standard power chords, right? So that included as well, because those are also part of your bar chords. It's just a partial form of each of those bar chords that you're playing. So that is a good list for you to start looking at. Do I understand my open chords? Do I understand how to strum? Do I know my E-shaped bar chords? Do I know my A-shaped bar chords? Do I know the major pentatonic, the minor pentatonic, and the blues scale? What do I need to go learn now, right? Those are the things that will help you so much with your guitar playing and get you years down the road. Now check this out. I want you to go watch this video next about your E-shaped bar chords. This is going to show you the major, the minor, the 7, the minor 7, all that, so that you know how these E-shaped bar chords work, how to play them all over the fretboard, and that is going to set you up. So remember, 20% of the stuff that you need to know on the guitar is going to get you 80% of your results, and I will see you over in the next video about these E-shaped bar chords.